Hi, welcome to Laura's View and Tarot 2. I am so glad you're here. Today's date is Thursday, June 19th, 2025. In this video, we're going to take a further and deeper look at yesterday's flagpole raising ceremony at the White House because I think I've got some decodes that I can add to what is already being put out there by others. I think I've come across a couple of items that might be uniquely mine, and I want to share them with you. And then we're going to see what the tarot has to say about the situation. Well, first of all, just to review, yesterday, President Trump, using his own money, paid to have a flagpole raised on the north lawn and south lawn of the White House. That caused a lot of chatter. There's been talk of the significance. I don't claim to be able to decode the entire event. Others are doing a great job of that, including the fact that during the sound bites on that, President Trump talked about erecting those flagpoles. So that made a lot of anons go to the 17 posts and look for bracketed E's, etc. So there's lots coming out about there's the significance of the event. Now, during the flag raising ceremony itself, the photographs we see of President Trump, he's wearing a gold tie, which is often a victory color for him. You know, the gold elevator. Gold is kind of his signature color, but it's one that he brings out at a point of victory or something to celebrate. So I noticed that. Then later in the day, when he was talking about the flagpoles, because they were raised at different times because of a thunderstorm, the first one with the gold tie was raised, I believe, at 1 o'clock, and then they had to wait for a thunderstorm to pass before they could raise the other one. At later in the day, when President Trump was on camera, he had his shirt open, which we often see after a deal is done, and he was wearing a white hat. So lots of significance with the wardrobe, etc. But I think there's more than that. Now, here's where I am glad that I do a little bit of digging and verifying. I saw a number of accounts that usually have information really, really accurate, talking about the fact that the flagpoles that went up were 88 feet tall, and that had a significant and sinister connotation, backing up towards the M group, and their salute of allegiance, and also Masonic elements use the 88. So I wanted to do a little checking on that and see. And because I did, I'm glad I did. I discovered and wanted to share with you because President Trump said, he just simply said that those flagpoles were almost 100 feet tall. And then later on, we heard they were 88. Well, according to the company that manufactured them, a North Texas company called US Flag and Flagpole, they're 80 feet tall each. That's where it gets significant. So before we knew the 80, now that we knew, that opens a whole new perspective of things to think about. We've got 80-foot flagpole on the north lawn, 80-foot flagpole on the south lawn. 80 and 80 make 160. 160 years ago this year was 1865. That was the year when the conflict, the Civil War, the war between the states, or also called the war between the North and South, ended. So there was an end of a war in 1865. That was also the year that President Lincoln was assassinated, and many believe that that was actually the start then of the efforts that are credited with the 17 group, starting after that incident. The 13th Amendment abolishing slavery was ratified in 1865, and Reconstruction started. So I think that's where the symbolism that I'm seeing that others don't because they didn't get the flagpole height correct and kind of took a rabbit trail off to the left instead of straight ahead. They might have missed that. So think about that. 80 and 80 make 160. 160 years ago was 1865. That was the year that those events I mentioned happened. So I think there was a lot of symbolism that has so far been a little bit overlooked with this. Now let's talk about the symbolism about that flagpole raising ceremony. Okay, the Washington, D.C. area is commonly known as enemy territory. It's not actually part of the contiguous United States. It's a separate district. That's why it's called the District of Columbia, Washington, D.C. When you raise your flag in enemy territory during a conflict, it's a powerful symbolic act. It signifies victory, control, or occupation of that area. It asserts dominance and claiming authority over the captured land. Historically, it served as a morale booster for the advancing side and a psychological blow to the enemy, signaling their loss of power. So that's where I would like to go with this tarot question today. Okay. Was the flag raising yesterday the symbolic act of victory, an assertion of power, etc., plus additional insights and information? Let's see what the universe wants us to know. I think it was not just a power play, it was a power move and power symbolism. And I think that we're going to see that with the cards, but if I'm wrong, I'll share what I find out with you, okay? As always, I just try to see what I see and share it with you as accurately and honestly as possible. So I'm going to switch camera, speaking of accurate and honest, let you watch me work with the cards so you can see that we really do let the universe give us the answer and it's not something that I craft or cause to happen, by shenanigans. Okay, I'm going to switch camera and we'll work with the cards. Okay, out of all the significance I discussed in this video for the two 80-foot flagpoles being erected yesterday, I think what might be the most important is that it was could have been potentially a symbolic act that talked about asserting dominance and victory, control of the area, etc. Is that the relevant messaging to that flagpole raising ceremony yesterday at the White House? Plus additional insights and information are welcomed as always. So we do have a yes or no element to this question. Let's see what the universe wants us to know. Okay, we got the Fool, Knight of Pentacles. Well, we got some powerful answers going on here, guys. I'll share them with you as we go. We got our hard answer with the Ace of Swords. So it was a declaration of control and dominance and victory. Justice. Love it. Keep it coming, universe. The Empress. The Magician. Look at all these. We've got 4 major arcana so far. And King of Wands. Okay. Out of 7 cards, we got 4 that are major arcanas. Important question. And I'm going to hang on. I'm going to try to handle that glare so it's a little less troubling for your eyes. That's as good as I can do it with my home equipment. But hopefully that'll help. Okay, so let's take a look at this. We were asking with a yes or no element. Was the some of the symbolism yesterday, the main symbolism talking about victory, occupation of the area, dominance, and claiming authority over some captured land? We got a hard yes with the Ace of Swords. Now, the topic itself, the Fool is the indicator. And the Fool is always setting out in a new path on a new way. So yeah, it's signaled the start of a new era. The Knight of Pentacles refers back to some of that White Hat Alliance military actions that we've talked about. There's a lot of military actions going on, campaigns that are in process, and the war's not over, but there's been enough battles won that it was time to raise that flag and claim that area. So the Knight of Pentacles is steadfast and just brilliant strategizing of a military context and type. So love that that's coming up, saying, yeah, we're going somewhere new because we've made enough gains in the conflicts that it can happen. Justice. Don't need to explain what that means. Justice is coming, okay? Justice is part of what this is in the present position, so justice is coming. Let's look at the near future. Okay, we already know that this was kind of symbolizing that we're heading out in a new path, a new way. And we got yesterday with my read, we found out that we can expect some observable changes in the near future. So this is adding on to yesterday's read. If you didn't watch it, please do. Now let's look at the Empress. She is a card of, well, first of all, very strong divine feminine energy, which we need to balance out and get those the two, divine masculine, divine feminine, in balance. Looks to me like, especially with the Magician, where he can access all things, and he's about balance too, manifesting balance. we're going to see as we move forward and have that justice roll out and things change, that balance of the divine masculine and divine feminine energy. King of Wands just talks about leadership and vision. And so, because of a good vision on the part of leadership, the strategizing and the diligence of a lot of souls that saw our worth to be freed and able to pursue the best possible outcome for not just our country, but for humanity because of their actions. It's all coming together, guys. We knew we were in the storm. We know we're coming through that, and things are changing in a beautiful way, and the cards are confirming that 100%. I'm going to get a few more cards here. Got the Moon, Four of Pentacles. The Moon is also a major arcana. The Eight of Cups and the Four of Cups. Now, the Moon reminds us that there's been, well, first of all, there's going to be some false reporting out there. We know to be use our discernment and decide what's true, what's not, what sounds accurate or likely, and use that discernment. There's going to be some lies, so that, yeah, we don't expect the mainstream media to talk about this, the victory aspect here of what we're talking about. And just a reminder that this has been a hard-fought war. There have been casualties. Okay, there's been people that put their life on the line to get us where we're at now, and those people will still continue to put themselves in harm's way for our benefit, and we owe them a great debt of thanks. The Four of Cups, or pardon me, the Four of Pentacles is just reminding us to be careful with our resources, and because this isn't, we're in the end game, but we're not at the end play of the end game. Just to be aware of that. Then we have the Eight of Cups for the near future, saying there's going to be, I think we're going to see some people who leave the public eye. We knew that was going to happen, but I think they're going to be going because they are in need of some healing and some restoring and that kind of healing energy. So I'm not seeing this as a consequence. So I think we're going to have some people, like taking off the masks, being who they really are, maybe taking advantage of some healing systems or opportunities to have harm that's been done reversed. That's going to happen. And part of it is also this card always advocates some reflection. Think of where we were, how we got there, and let's make sure that as a race, not just a country in the United States, we don't go there again. Okay, that we don't allow ourselves to have our freedom removed from us and our autonomy and our sovereignty. The Four of Cups, the final card, just says, widen your perspective so you don't miss any relevant details and facts and information, and so that you too can catch some of these symbolic acts and symbolism and get them accurate. And I think it's huge. This 80 plus 80 was nothing like what they thought the 88 was, and the 80 and 80 are where it's at and what it was about. Okay, so let's recap. Yesterday, there were flagpoles raised at the White House on the north and south lawns. And oh, I just saw that we had a visitor. I could see them. I'm not surprised with so many major arcanas coming up. I'm not surprised. Okay, but you made me lose my train of thought here. Let me get back into it. Okay, there was a lot of symbolism associated with that event, both with the wardrobe choices that President Trump showed throughout the day and with the event itself. There was a little misdirection on the part of some good-hearted people when it was declared that the White House flagpoles were 88 feet tall. And I did a little further digging, and actually, if you go to the company's report that manufactured them, the U.S. flag and flagpole in North Texas, they're 80 feet tall. That opened up a whole new decoding can of worms. 80 and 80 is 160. 160 years ago, we had the end of the Civil War. We had President Lincoln assassinated, and some believe that that is what started the actual enterprise and counter moves associated with the 17 movement. We had Reconstruction begin, and an end of slavery, with the 13th Amendment being ratified. So I asked if the symbolism of the flags being raised was a declaration of victory, of dominance, claiming authority over what had been enemy territory. We got a hard yes for that with the Ace of Swords. We also got lots of major arcanas that showed up. And the first one was the Fool, indicating, the start of a new path. You set out and we're going to new places, and we're going to be stepping out in with some freedoms and sovereignty that we're not comfortable with yet. But I look forward to having that become part of our comfort zone, part of our just human expectation for what life should entail and what should be available to us. The Justice card showed up for the current. Don't have to explain that one, do I, guys? We had the magician show up who can manifest all sorts of things, just reminding us, expect good things, plan them, make them manifest, because we're part of that, designing, well, what do we want this new world to look like, this new reality, our new, best possible positive outcomes. What would they look like, sound like, feel like, and make them happen? And also talks about balancing that energy between the divine masculine and divine feminine, which needs to be done because we need to not fight those two energy types, but blend them, bring out the best in both of them. And if you want to look at what all the cards were for the read, you can go back a few minutes and watch the entire read. But that's what we got. Yeah, it was a symbolic act. It was a declaration of victory. It was a declaration of dominance and claiming authority over what had been contested and even captured land. So that's it for this video. And I thank you so much for watching. Appreciate it if you'd like to subscribe, or just simply like the video and come back another time and see if you want to be a subscriber. I thank you for everything. If you're willing to receive it, I send you the best possible outcome, positive outcome for all your endeavors, and I send you love, light, and everything bright. Bye.